that contents of the manila folder with him. And when you unveil that, it can't just be the quarterback. You have to build around him as well. And I remember being on the phone with Peyton the night before the draft last year, and he probably called me 3 different times asking the same question, if the Raiders loved Penix. Do the Raiders love Penix? If Penix, are the Raiders going to trade up to get Penix? He was so concerned about the Raiders loving Penix that they might not love Penix and might love Bo Nix, and then this whole entire process and rating system would be out the window if the Raiders jumped him. He wasn't going to let it happen again. To your point, Seth, he wanted Mahomes. They were all ready to draft Mahomes. Andy Reid went and got him. So now they put the parts around him, and you look at the running backs room, I think it's huge. When he was in New Orleans, Sean always had this variety of running backs, whether it be a combination of Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles and Reggie Bush, and then eventually Alvin Kamara. They always had all these guys, and then soon enough, Taysom Hill was playing that. In Denver, they're building a stable of running backs, and all the fantasy folks will tell you Harvey's the guy, and he will be, but they still really like Jaleel McLaughlin. They still are really excited about getting J.K. Dobbins, and they still like the kid Estime that they got from Notre Dame last year. So that's going to be key, because Sean Payton has not always been a passing guy. We know that. And it's always been about Breeze. But that stable of running backs is almost as important in New Orleans as it was the passing game, and they are very high on what they have in the running backs room this year as well.
Yeah, they traded up to get Knicks's college teammate, Troy Franklin, as well. So this is just one part of your new book, and I'm with Schrags. I mean, kudos to get Sean Payton to like peel back the coaching onion at all is unbelievable. What else can we expect? Because I know you're going to have some more great revelations for us coming up.
What was funny, and I didn't tell a soul about that. I didn't even tell my wife. Nobody knew that he had showed me that. I didn't talk to a single person about it, and it all worked out. He was a happy guy after the draft. I think I'm going to be here every week. We're going to talk about a new element of the book, and I hopefully have some surprises for people.
Yeah, well, hopefully you got more people to spill some more secrets, as only you can, Seth Wickersham. Also, we want to tell people this book is unbelievable. It's called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. It is available for pre-order now wherever books are sold. We have some breaking news now into NFL Live from Adam Schefter, and this is big. The NFL has suspended Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the 2025 regular season for violating the league's substances abuse policy. He will now miss games at Chicago, against the Falcons, against the Bengals. Again, tough news for that team, and especially J.J. McCarthy, his first year. Breaking news on NFL Live. The NFL has suspended Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the 2025 regular season. For the details now, we go to Jeff Darlington. JD, what more can you tell us?
Well, Hannah, this is a 3-game suspension that is for substance abuse, but this is actually something that requires a little more context. Addison was arrested for DUI last year. He pleaded down to a lesser charge. So this is related to that. The wording obviously is being used that it's the substance abuse situation. The suspension is for that, but this is all related to that DUI. So this then will go away in terms of the punishment from the NFL. This is their final punishment as a result of that situation. So again, a 3-game suspension for the Vikings' number 2 wide receiver. Obviously very impactful considering J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback, is trying to establish himself as the franchise guy.
Right. Those first 3 games would be at the Bears, the Falcons, and the Bengals. They don't meet a playoff team until they play in Dublin against the Steelers in Week 4. So obviously this affects defenses on the other side. They're going to be able to concentrate on Justin Jefferson. What does this mean for McCarthy and the Vikings offense as they try to get going with a new quarterback who essentially is a rookie?
You mentioned Justin. Yeah, you mentioned Justin, Hannah. He's been dealing with an injury himself, so he hadn't had that great of a time with J.J. McCarthy in camp either. But here's the deal, man. Like, as a rookie quarterback coming into a system, all of the confidence in the world and what Kevin O'Connell has been doing offensively, we saw him resurrect Sam Darnold's career. J.J. McCarthy was the guy that they chose, right? So now it's about positioning him. And look, I guess the silver lining in a situation that's not good is that now you prepare to not have Addison, which gives this coaching staff an opportunity. Naylor is still there, who stepped up big for him at the wide receiver position as well. in some games. But I think ultimately for a young quarterback, now it's about finding within. Like the run game is going to become more prevalent. This defense is still really, really good under Brian Flores. So it may be more of like, let's play mistake-free football. Let's find the plays when we can be explosive downfield, but more importantly, play a complementary game until you have your full requisite weapons with Jordan Addison coming back, because he did develop into a deep threat for Sam Darnold last year, and J.J. McCarthy is going to want to have that back before they start opening this offense up.
All right, we have more breaking news to get. I'm sorry, did you want to add something, Shrakes? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you get a month now to get those guys going. You mentioned Naylor, Felton's there, Rondale Moore, they went and signed. Like, you've got a month now, so you better have a number 2 wide receiver. This can't be one of those where they're looking around in the huddle week 1 and say, what do we do without Addison? I think they'll be prepared.
Exactly. It looked like a relatively maybe soft beginning for J.J. McCarthy, which just got a lot more challenging. And as I mentioned moments ago, speaking of young quarterbacks, Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders is expected to start Cleveland's preseason opener against the Panthers. How about that? First reported by Mary Kay Cabot, and that was confirmed by Shefty. And he's been dealing with some shoulder soreness as well. Shrakes, what do you think about this?
I perked up. This is the Shedeur effect. I perked up. I didn't anticipate this, and now it's okay. Shedeur's going to play, and he's going to play in a preseason game, and he's going to have an opportunity to do it on a national stage. This is why Shedeur Sanders is a different kind of 5th-round pick. If you told me some other 5th-round pick playing for some other team was starting, I wouldn't even, care. Now I'm seeing Shedeur, and I'll tell you, these guys know it. And Jeff, you might have been there with me. I remember being up in Renton, Washington, watching Russell Wilson in 2012 absolutely light up training camp and then go in a preseason game against the Cowboys and be the best player on the field, being so good that he was undeniable to that coaching staff that they had to start Russ, who was a day 2 pick, over Matt Flynn and over the late Travaris Jackson because he won the job. So Shedeur, I looked to him, go and win the job. You're on national TV. Go and light it up. Throw the ball. Have fun. But I didn't buy the jersey, but I definitely perked up at the fact that he's going to be playing and he's number 1 under center, even in a preseason game.
I agree with you, Shregs. This is important. It does come with context. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel both dealing with hamstring issues. They're not putting Joe Flacco in there, who is their projected week 1 starter. So they are down to basically saying, like, all right, Shedeur, here's your shot. And this is exactly what you need. I mean, anytime you talk about a 5th-round pick, forget about the name attached to him. He's going to have to look for these situations where maybe a couple guys are down right now and he has his chance to step up. And then if he does well, there's no looking back. That being said, he is getting this first chance. This is a chance to shine, ultimately, because those 2 guys right now who are ahead of him on the depth chart, the first depth chart, they are dealing with hamstring issues. So sure, Sanders getting his chance.
By the way, they have Marcus Swagoo, yes.
Go ahead, Hannah.
I was going to say that they actually...
There's a real move.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Hannah. Go ahead, Hannah.
No.
I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say they actually have like 5 quarterbacks in camp now because they signed Tyler Huntley today. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Snoop. Snoop is in the building too.
Exactly.
I was about to say though, like Shedeur is on record saying he didn't want Prime to come to practice because he wasn't doing that much. He wasn't getting those many reps. This is the opportunity that he has now to be fully in command of an offense. And this is critical. Like if we see a step up, if he starts getting a 1 step above his reps that he's been getting, if his positional value moves up, it'll be based on how he performs in this preseason game. It may be a blessing in disguise for Shedeur Sanders, who needs to have the football so he can show people what he is and what he can be for this franchise. I think this is a bigger deal than just starting a preseason game for a 5th-round pick. Not because it's Shedeur Sanders, but because we don't know what the 2 guys that are dealing with the hamstrings are either. This is not clear-cut about who the backup will be for all intents and purposes. You would think Kenny Pickett because of the experience, but this is a vital situation that Shedeur has and almost an opportunity for him to move up in that depth chart just by default based on the performance in a week 1 preseason game.
Right, this is job security, right? They're not going to hang on to all of these guys once the season starts.
It's a big deal, man.
It is. It's going to be all eyes on him, I tell you. Cowboys and Rams, by the way, they're having a joint practice today in Oxnard, California, and that is where we find our Lindsay theory. She's been all over the place. Lindsay, let's talk about the Rams because they have a concern. At quarterback, Matthew Stafford is now seeing a specialist for his back issues. What's the latest? What's going on there?
Hannah, Matthew Stafford has seen that specialist twice for his back issues, and you mentioned it. There is some concern around the Rams almost 3 weeks now into training camp, and Stafford has yet to practice. He will not practice again today in their joint workout against the Cowboys. As you see, he is arriving. He is here, but he will not be throwing the football. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo, first-team reps, and as we know from covering Sean McVay, he puts a lot of emphasis on the importance of these joint workouts because he does not play starters in the preseason. As for Stafford, McVay has expressed some optimism about the progress there, saying he is progressing. Yesterday during a jog-through, he did work out on the side. As for the details of that workout, Sean McVay said, ask the training staff. Well, the training staff just walked behind me. I asked them. They laughed and said, we absolutely can't tell you how things are going. We have to say officially no comment. But again, there is some optimism. Sean McVay says they want to work him back into football, and hopefully in the near future, they will get him back out here. But Hannah,